In Football Manager, we'd all love it if we could go and sign the world's best superstars and the best wonderkids in the world. That would be great. But sometimes we don't have the budget to do that, particularly if you're not one of the world's biggest teams. It can be hard to find some good players for your squad, but don't worry, someone's going to help you out, because today I'm going to be giving you over 15 bargains that you can check out in your save. Now, this will be part of a series that we do on many a bargain FM, so don't worry, this isn't the be all and end all. But if you found someone that's cheap and good in your save, we want to hear it. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you smash the like button if you enjoy, and subscribe for plenty of content throughout the course of FM26. But with that being said, let's get into my list of bargains. And we start off with a player that was already good in FM24. Now he's a few years older, and in FM26 he's arguably a bigger bargain than ever. This is Firmino, who in this save here is valued at around 2 million. Now I do need to do a few disclaimers quickly to say that the values might shift slightly in your saves, but should be there and thereabouts the numbers that I give you in this video. Most of these players will be available in the first transfer window too, but a handful of them you might need to wait until January before you can sign them. And the final thing is, if you can't see any of these players in your save, it's likely because your database isn't big enough. But with all that being said, we can now check out these players, and Firmino is probably one of my favourites in the list, but I'm saving my favourite till last in typical YouTube fashion. But this is a 24-year-old Spanish striker playing for Burgos, a team who I've probably butchered the pronunciation of, but they're in the second tier of Spain, so it's not exactly like he's going to command a super high fee. And for £2 million or so, around 10 grand a week maybe if you're talking wages, you can net yourself a striker that's got plenty of years left ahead of him. He's got 16 jumping reach, he's strong, and he's got a bit of speed about him too. Never going to hit the ball on his left foot, but mentally he is very well rounded, and he's got 14 finishing, good dribbling and first touch, and can pass as well. So he's never going to be a world-class striker, and with all of these players, they're obviously not going to be Lionel Messi's, Erling Haaland's. There's a reason that they're bargains after all, but to be able to sign what I consider to be a high-level championship, low-level Premier League striker here, if we use England as an example, for 2 million. He's formerly of Villarreal, having passed through from Cadiz early on, went to Mallorca on loan, and he has scored quite a few goals in La Liga too in the most recent season, scoring 10 goals in 41 appearances, which doesn't seem like a lot, but he has at least put the ball in the back of the net, and the game has given him a very good rating. So for 2 million, he is certainly a bargain. But I hear you saying it already, Jake, I haven't got £2 million. Don't worry, in this video we've got players that are 5 million and some that are going to cost you a few £100,000. And this is one of those examples with Max Ibong, who's got the number 99 shirt at Astana, his team out in the Kazakhstan divisions. And he's from Belarus, where he's already got 50 appearances for his national team and 5 goals. So because of the club he's at, he's not valued that high at all. You can actually go in and pick him up for around £300,000, and you net yourself a central midfielder with years left ahead of him, not at the end of his game just yet, a left footer who's very well rounded in all aspects of his game, physically and mentally. But then when it comes to the actual technical side of his game, whilst he's never going to score you a goal with 6 finishing, he's got 14 marking and 14 tackling, so you know he's going to defend well. And then he's got 14 passing, 14 technique, some nice vision, dribbling and first touch. A very good midfield option who, outside of goal scoring, can do everything. He's got the work rate and the stamina to track back and get forward as well. He's going to create chances, win the ball back, and to get that for so cheap, it baffles me how he's even available for that. Now, he's been at Astana for a number of years, so I don't know why anybody hasn't taken a chance on him yet, but he obviously backs himself putting that number 99 shirt on. You have to be half decent, and by the looks of it, he certainly is for the price. We've done a cheap option, let's hit you with one of the more expensive ones, but certainly a premium player. It is, of course, Anthony Martial, the player that at one point looked like he was destined to be the next Thierry Henry when he scored that goal for Manchester United. Since then, we all know his career hasn't quite gone to plan. Some injuries and some fall-off in general has meant that he's now ended up playing for Monterrey, a team out in the Mexican divisions. Now, he's only just signed there from AEK Athens for under £1 million, which shows you how cheap this guy has been. So you might not be able to sign him straight away, but in January, if you then go and approach him, you'll be able to get what was a really good talent that Manchester United paid a big sum of money for way back when, who can play on the left wing and striker. You'll be looking at about £3 million by the looks of it. And whilst we all know in real life, Martial is never going to reach the potential he once had, in game, if you look at it without thinking of the name of a player, that's 15 dribbling, 15 finishing, 16 first touch. Elite levels there in those areas. 14 passing, 16 technique. Again, elite. he's got the flair, he's still got the speed. His natural fitness has gone down a little bit, but he is still strong, he's still quick, he can dribble and shoot if you want him off the left or up front. He's going to be a top option, and the fact that Anthony Martial, all these years later, can be signed for £3 million or so, and he's not even on a huge wage either, I mean, he's a no-brainer signing for me. So that's 3 of, I think, 17 players that we've got to show you today, so plenty to get into, people that we think are great value for money for the ability that you're getting. And I can't lie, I'll be buying a lot of these players in my saves, and I know you're all thinking at home, I wish I could watch you play Football Manager, Jake. Well, don't worry, you can, because in the description is my channel, where over there we do plenty of FM content, from rebuilds to experiments. It's more entertainment based as opposed to informative like we do on FMSCOUT. So if you like me or you like Football Manager, give it a go. I really think you'll like what we put out over there, and I massively appreciate the support. But let's get back to our list. The plugin's done now. We can see some more bargains. Now, we've looked at the fancy attacking positions and midfielders and strikers, but let's move on to a goalkeeper, where we've picked out Samuel Brolin, who is a player available here for at maximum about £1 million. He's a Swedish 24-year-old, so in terms of a goalkeeper's career, he's got another 10 years or so yet before he even thinks about retiring, and he's currently playing for Kalmar in the Swedish leagues. It looks like they're in the 2nd division now, maybe. I don't fully know everything about the Swedish leagues, but I believe that's the case, and you're getting here a 6'8" goalkeeper. If that's not enough to sell you, I don't know what will be, but he's got 17 aerial reach, one-on-one ability, command of his area, and communication. He's maybe not the world's best ball-playing goalkeeper, because while he can throw, his passing's weak, as is his first touch. His decision-making also isn't the highest in the world, but if you're after a commanding, dominant keeper to deal with the physicality of, say, the Championship or League One, if we use England again as an example, he could be a great pickup, and someone that I think would benefit many a team. But if in your save you haven't got the money for him, or he's moved to another club already, then you might want to check out this guy instead. His name is Geiska Ayisa. It's another goalkeeper, and I think there are the only 2 keepers we have in this list. I could be wrong, but he's going to cost you around 500k. Now, he's currently playing in the lower leagues of Spain for Alcorcon. I definitely butchered that pronunciation there. As you can tell, I'm not Spanish, but he is. He's a 24-year-old Spanish keeper, and he's a little bit different to Brolin in the sense that he's only 6 foot, and he doesn't actually have the aerial command of his area that Brolin has, but on the other end of the spectrum, he's brilliant at other aspects of the game, with good reflexes, passing, one-on-ones, handling, kicking's good too. His first touch is a little bit weak, but everything outside of that is at a good level. I think he's probably a higher level keeper than Brolin, and I think if you were a Championship club and picked him up, you wouldn't really look back at all. You'd have a good keeper here to carry you into the Premier League. I think he's a great option for 500k or so, and you can't really go wrong with that. But I hear you're sick of the keepers, you want an outfield player, so let's move on to a Mexican left-back by the name of Alonso Aceves. I'm having a terrible day when it comes to pronunciations, let's be honest, but you can get this player for around 500k also. Now, I will say, in this whole video, please ignore the star ratings. I'm managing Man City here in this save where I have every player in the world loaded. Don't worry, I wouldn't actually manage Man City. But because of that, these players are being compared to Haaland's and Rodri's, and obviously, they're not at that level. There's a reason they're costing 500k and not 500 million, but you're getting a left-back here who has everything you'd really want from a wing-back. 13 crossing, yes, his dribbling's a bit weak, but the first touch, marking, passing, technique and tackling, combined with the physical and mental aspects of his game, particularly the work rate and the stamina to get up and down in that left wing back spot, he is going to be a fantastic option for only 500k or so. Now, he's been at his club for a while in Pachuca, so it's not like you're going to have to wait before you can sign him. He's been a regular player in the Mexican leagues for a while and even spent some time in the MLS with Chicago Fire. But at least for now, he's available for a cheap fee, so get in there whilst you can and secure yourself a very good Championship level left back. But if you don't like that Mexican left-back, I've got a different one for you in Ralph Orquin, who is playing for Club America, a team that I can actually pronounce for once, and he's been there for a while. He's been on a couple of loans to FC Juarez, who are also in the same division as Club America, but now he is back at his club and available, seemingly, for even cheaper than the last guy. Maybe 300k could net you this left-back, who again, if you highlight the wing-back role, either as a left-back or actually in that left wing-back spot, but the role of wing-back, he can do to a T. 13 crossing, 12 dribbling, everything is at 13s and 12s in the technicals. Mentally, super well-rounded. Actually, I'm going to say this guy's a better option than the last one. Younger, better in all areas, determined. Physically is maybe where he's let down a little bit. He still has the work rate, but not as much stamina, and the strength is maybe a bit questionable for a fullback, but everything else, I really think you can go for. He's a forward-thinking defender, and if you have someone that's maybe a bit more conservative on the right that allows him to bomb forward, then Ralph Orquin could be another great pickup for a bargain price. But you might be a bit bored of defenders by now, so let's move on to an attacker, and I think he is probably the most expensive in this video. He's probably competing with 2 players for that position, but this is a £5 million man, an Albanian 22-year-old playing for Cesena, a team out in the Italian divisions, where he has been for quite a while in Serie B, and he's been scoring goals there, by the way. 11 goals in his most recent season. He's previously scored 20 in 31 matches, and I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up by anyone else, because Christian Shipendi is his name, and he's a really good option if you're looking for someone to hold the ball up top and bring other people into play, because physically he is quick, he's strong, and he's good in the air whilst being hard working with good natural fitness. He's determined, makes good decisions, and is very composed, can finish. Maybe his dribbling could do with a bit of work, but he can pass. He's got good technique. His first touch is also pretty nice. Now obviously if you're Man City or you're Chelsea or whoever you are, Liverpool, you're not going to go and sign this guy. I'd even argue by saying if you got promoted with Cesena, you might be looking for another striking option. But if you're talking lower levels of Serie A, maybe even high level championship in England, he could be a very good pickup. Someone that could easily drive you to promotion, good with both feet as well. Obviously not the tallest, but 5'11" isn't exactly small, and he's going to give you a good option up top for pretty cheap, who's going to score you some goals, and that's all you can ask for a player that's quite young as well. He could still get better. And I said he's competing with another player for the most expensive, but let's get him out of the way pretty quickly, because you will see straight away, I know you're all thinking it, how is he a bargain? He's £10 million and he's not exactly world class. Well, let me tell you why. This is 19-year-old Lorenzo Venturino, who plays for Genoa, who I believe are still in Serie A. Yes, they are. And he is actually playing for their first team, or at least played 6 times in their most recent season. Now, being 19, we of course know there's a lot of potential there, but in terms of starting ability, physically, well-rounded, mentally, could do with a bit of work in some areas, but overall, you can't really complain. He's got the holy trinity of dribbling, finishing, and first touch. He can also pass and has good technique with good long shots as well. He's right-footed and plays on the right, but is versatile, and you're looking here at a good low-level Serie A player. So why would you pay £10 million for him? Well, the reason is he's 19. You're obviously getting a lot of ability here, but he has a lot of potential too. So by the time he's 21, 22, you'll be looking at 15s and 16s for first touch. The same for technique, for passing, for long shots. His finishing will go up. His physical attributes will develop a lot in the first year of your save. And with that, you're going to be looking at a player that I think will be valued at 30, 40 million in 2 or 3 years' time. So to get him here for potentially £8 million or so, 9 million, I don't think it's the worst deal in the world. Now, he's probably not the biggest bargain in this list, but I still class him as a bargain overall for what you're going to get out of him long term and for the value that he could be in pretty much no time once you start developing him. He's got all the attributes you need there, a really good base set to build up from, no real weaknesses in his game, so he's someone that you could definitely develop into a top level player, and maybe even, if you've got your managerial wits about you, into a good striker. And with around 6 or 7 players to go now, I've saved some of my favourites till last. The next one is the cheapest in this list, but it's the last time I'll ask you, if you are enjoying, to smash the like button and subscribe, and most importantly today, let me know your favourite bargains, the players you've been signing, if they're 10 million, if they're 100k, I want to hear them, because we're going to make a video soon about some of your favourites. So get them down below, let people know who you've been signing, make a big list in the comments, so not just the ones I speak about, but all those ones can be checked out too. But let's check out my next pick, who is a player at Real Madrid of all clubs, and his name is brilliantly Manuel Angel. Now, he is someone that you can sign from Castilla, who are Real Madrid's B team, and he's been playing for them for quite a while, but it's got to the point now where even though he's got a couple years on his contract, you can seemingly sign him for around 200k, and for that fee, you're getting a midfielder with 14 passing, 13 technique, and 15 vision, so you know creatively, he has got it in abundance. He's got the holy trinity of dribbling, finishing, and first touch at a good level. My biggest issue with his game is his work rate and his stamina, but hopefully you can get that up, because I don't think he's going to work that hard for you. But if you're after someone that you can give that creative license to as an advanced playmaker, being either footed, I think this is the kind of player that could really turn into something special. Obviously, being a Real Madrid player in their academy, he'll have potential as well at 21. He's going to get better yet. But if you look at him, even if you never played him and sign him for 200k, kept him in your academy, I think you'd be looking at a £5 million player within a year or so. And now if you actually used him in your team and developed him regularly, I think eventually this is a £20 million player for sure, and you can get him for 200k. So you can 100 times your money, if my maths is correct there, going from 200k to 20 million. That's the kind of deal I think you could get with Manuel Angel. So keep an eye on him, check him out, and you might net yourself a bargain. And then for the oldest player left in this list, I did lie to you. I found out later on there is another goalkeeper, and he is arguably of a higher quality than the others, but will cost you a bit more. It's Venezia's first choice keeper, Alessandro Plezzari. Now, he spent a year on loan at Pescara in Serie C, but is now back at Venezia and is supposedly considered their first choice goalkeeper. He's got Italian youth caps, and at 6'3", this right-footed keeper has some good attributes to build off, particularly in the physical areas, but also when it comes to his one-on-one ability, his reflexes, his aerial reach, and command of his area, the basics of goalkeeping. He can also kick and has decent first touch for a keeper, I must say. Passing, maybe not the best, nor is his throwing, so distribution might be an issue, but if you're looking for out-and-out shot-stopping ability, a no-nonsense goalkeeper is suggested, then for about £1 million here, you can get yourself a good option at 25, heading into his prime years. And now for our final few, I'm going to go from most expensive to least of the ones that we've got left. And here I have a Mexican international at age 16. He actually featured in our wonderkids video, and I thought he fits this bargain video perfectly because for 5 million, you might not be able to sign him straight away from Xolos Tijuana, but if you wait a little bit, you'll be able to get yourself a guy that's already playing in the first team in the Mexican divisions, already an international, and at 16 years of age, that's crazy to say for Gilberto Mora, a young number 10 who's only 5'6", but already runs with the ball often, is good with both feet, has a lot of flair, a lot of technical ability, really well-rounded mentals for a player so young, and physicals to back it. He's never going to be the world's strongest or win the ball in the air or even defend, but if you're after a creative player behind your striker, he's the one. Now, he's going to be hard to poach at age 16, but keep an eye on him, get your scouts on him, and as soon as you're able to, bring him to your club because he's got huge potential as well as great starting ability. And I won't spoil it just yet, but he has the potential to be world-class in the majority of saves. That's how good he is, so make sure you get your eyes on him. We then have Thiago Fernandez, who it says 1.3 to 8.2 million, so let's meet in the middle and call it 4 million for a 21-year-old left winger from Vélez in the Argentinian leagues. Now, he's been there for quite a while and has been playing in their first team for a pretty reputable side in Argentina, so you know that he's already good enough and you know you should be able to sign him straight away. He hasn't got a left foot, but on his right foot, cutting in from that left-hand side, you could get some great joy out of a player that's got 15 acceleration, 15 agility, and 12 pace. Mentally, really well-rounded as well, with great technique, passing, long shots, dribbling, and first touch. Can also play in the 10. Obviously, this is a higher caliber player, maybe one that might go to, say, a high-level championship club, maybe even low-level Premier League. I don't think you'd be able to sign him in League One, but for £4 million or so, I think this is a great option that can play multiple positions, create, score goals, and be a bit of South American flair to add to your side. But if you want someone to play on the right wing, then you might want to take a look at Dominik Jankov, who plays for Rijeka out in the Croatian divisions, formerly of CF Montreal in the MLS. He has only just recently signed for Rijeka, so he's one of those you will have to wait a little bit before you sign him, but he is a fully fledged Bulgarian international, available to be bought for £1 million, and he's only 24 years of age. He can play through the middle or on the right, but is actually fairly accomplished in a lot of positions, even striker, and once again, he is not standing out as one of the world's best players. He's not got amazing attributes in any particular area, but he has really well-rounded attributes that would make him a top-level championship player with good passing, technique, finishing ability, dribbling, good physicals and mentals as well. We're not giving you duds here. All of these players have some kind of ability, and to get this for £1 million and arguably low wages as well, I think it's worth going for, particularly with some of those traits that he has. The final 3 players now, though, and we have a versatile fullback that you've likely heard of in Brandon Williams, who plays for Hull City. Obviously, he's formerly of Manchester United. He's played for Ipswich as well, Norwich on loan, but now has found a new permanent club, having been let go by Man U, and you can sign him for £2 million or so, and you get a guy that can play left back or right back. Yes, he's declined a lot in recent years, but he is still a good player. There's still potential there as well if he can eventually get to it, and you can already tell he is a championship level player because he plays for Hull City. I'm surprised his leadership is so low when he did used to be, I think, Manchester United's youth team captain, but he is someone that's played for Man U only a few years back. He can't be that bad. There is obviously half a player there, and he might be worth going for if you want some cover at fullback in your save. And for our final 2 players, we have a 19-year-old midfielder playing for Esperanes Tunis, who are a team all the way out in Tunisia, who signed this young Ivorian a couple seasons ago, meaning you now can go and sign him for a player that's got good ability but also a lot of potential. £5 million for a centre mid that can pass, tackle, has good technique, and is also pretty good with the ball at his feet as well, with the dribbling and first touch. Physically, he's already starting to round out, even though he's only 19, with good pace and natural fitness. He's never going to be the strongest at 5'6", 5'6", but he's not super weak considering his size, and mentally he's playing way above his years with great work rate and well-rounded attributes in all areas. He's someone that has a lot of potential too, and is also accomplished in many a position, so to sign him for 500k, an Ivory Coast international, he's someone that I think would benefit a lot of sides, whether you're playing him or just developing him in your academy for profit. But we're moving on to my favourite player now, so make sure you let me know your favourites down below and check out my channel after we're done. But we finish up with Saba Kabarashvili, who is in my wonderkids video as well, but he is a bargain of the truest nature. £1 million for a Georgian international fullback, playing for Dinamo Tbilisi, a team out in the Georgian leagues. He's one that you might not be able to sign straight away, but he has huge ability for someone of his age. I'd even go as far as saying he is a championship-ready left-back at only 16. And I'll tell you now, like Gilberto Mora, in most cases, he will be world class. In my most recent Manchester United rebuild, within 2 seasons, he was starting at fullback for Juventus. That shows you the level that he can get to pretty quickly at only 18. So now, to be able to sign him at 16, make your move on him. Get your scouts on him, make him aware that you want him. You can even try and approach to sign him, but he might not want to leave his club just yet. So make sure your scouts are watching his development, and as soon as he's ready, bring him in. 17 determination, he's going to develop into a superstar in no time. Already more than good enough, but he's only going to get way better. Arguably the best fullback wonderkid in the whole game this year, and that's why I think you should be checking him out. But there's some bargains for you in your save, plenty more to come in future videos, so make sure you're locked in and subscribe to FM Scout, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.